will stream. Finally! I'm really sorry for not streaming Wednesday. Like, my sister had like 3 meetings that evening, and it gets pretty loud sometimes. So, yeah. And it ended up being much later, so I couldn't really stream because my older brother had to go get up early, and so my sister and their rooms are right next to mine. The paper thing on the walls. So yeah, sorry about that. But we're here, back at it again. We got, what was it, 3 streams left to finish the Hidden Kingdom. We're reading chapters 21 and 25 today. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Things are heating up. Glory got kidnapped by the Nightwings, and we ended the last chapter with her figuring out that she is in the kingdom of the Nightwings, which no one knows where it is except for Nightwings. So, and that they've been kidnapping Rainwings for who knows how long, and for who knows what reason. But we'll hopefully figure out today. And we'll have another 5 chapters on Monday and on Wednesday, hopefully. And then I'll take a little break because a little vacation for Easter, because I am going to my spare parents this Thursday. To just chill and stuff. I really need that. Like, just get away, you know. And yeah. And then I can go, and I can get to buy stuff for Ace's B-Day box. Bones' B-Day box. Freak me. For Bones' B-Day box. Oh, and we're promoting body positivity today. Me and my crop top hoodie. So if anyone has any comments, like, "Oh, you're so fat" and everything, like, get the hell out of here. You're gonna be banned. If you come with comments like that, you're gonna get banned. You're gonna get an earful from me, and then you're gonna get banned. Because I want none of that in my chat. Only positivity and kindness and respect towards each other, and I dropped my ball. So yeah. I saw my therapist today as well. I really pity her because I'm really someone who's not good at talking in general. Like, I'm not good at talking to others. I'm not good at talking, and I'm even worse at talking to others about myself. So, I just sit there and nod or shake my head at her questions and stuff, at her talking. And then there are times where both of us just sit there, like, before she has to find something to keep the session going. I really feel so sorry for her. But I'm hopefully getting better. I really want to get better. And I really want to stream Minecraft. Because I played it today with my younger sister in New World. we got a great spawning spot. Pladouche in the middle of the intersection of many different biomes, which is pretty cool. So we're building a little house there, and we have a large a fenced off area for my llamas and a sheepy and a few chicks. And my sister got working on a mine pretty fast, and I worked on the house and stuff. I really wish I could show you guys, but yeah, my computer is only a laptop, not like a gaming computer or anything like that, so it doesn't cooperate. It just gets really bad and laggy, and I really hate that because I wish I could play Minecraft with you guys. But yeah, find your stuffed animals. I got two cuties here alongside Albert. I keep looking at my computer and myself. I don't know why. But yeah. Body positivity, guys. Gays, girls, and non-binary. Guys, girls, and non-binary pals. We are promoting body positivity because really we should be allowed to love ourselves as we are, as we look, and wear the clothes we want, no matter our body type. But a lot of people get shamed for it, and I haven't been shamed or anything, but I have conditioned myself to feel awful about my body because I've always been the only overweight person in my class and among my peers, and I just keep seeing skinny people, and I really want to wear crop tops and feel comfortable in them. So this is me putting myself out there and trying to start feeling comfortable in crop tops in my body. You should be allowed to wear anything you want to wear. And if you're new to the stream, this is how I start off most of my streams, just talking on tangents. Whatever comes to mind, I just talk about before I start reading. So yeah, really sorry about that. That's just how I am. So yeah, be yourself. But I'm hoping also to like tomorrow or Sunday, like have just a chill stream where we like sing and stuff like that. I really want to sing Forbidden Fruit, like my own version of it, which keeps changing. Just like sing songs with you guys, listen to songs, and yeah, really want to do that. Not just chatting and stuff. But yeah, that was the first 10 minutes. Let's go on to reading. I don't know why, but the first 10 minutes I always just use for talking about anything. It's like get warmed up, starting reading a book. So yeah. Chapter 21. Glory turned to the dragon net and waved her bound claws at the gag of her mouth. "Oh my gosh," said Kinkajou. "Oh my gosh," said Kinkajou, staring at Glory's scales as they changed color. "You're excited about something. I wonder what? Ooh, I'm curious." "Sure, of course you are. You must have lots of questions. I sure had a lot of questions when I got here. Hey, now you're frustrated. Super frustrated. And getting mad. Wow, what are you so? Exasperated, Glory shoved her aside and marched back into the cave. Sorry, I don't remember Kinkachu's voice. I only came up with it like, when was that? Monday, yeah. Came up with Kinkachu's voice Monday, so I don't really remember it. All I know is she's a 3-year-old dragonette, so. Yeah, sorry. Oh, you're mad at me, said Kinkachu, trotting along behind her. I'm used to that. The cave was not very big, ending abruptly at a steep drop-off at the back. Glory stared down into a pitch-black abyss. With no fire and no ability to see in the dark, no rainwing would get very close to that. Even if her wings were free, Glory couldn't go near it. That's how I visit the other prisoners, Kinkaju said. All their caves, and the one I'm supposed to stay in, open out into this. Gloria looked at the dragonette with new respect. Kinkachu's wings weren't bound, but they were tiny. Most 3-year-old dragons couldn't fly for long without needing a rest. She couldn't have flown how long she'd have to fly. She couldn't have known how long she'd have to fly when she first jumped into the darkness, looking for other prisoners. That was a special kind of brave. And crazy. Kinkachu tilted her head at Glory. I have no idea what that color means, she said. Wow, you really are different. She reached up and tugged on the ropes around Glory's wings. But this is the same, she sighed. I can't get any of them off. I'm sorry. It's some kind of super impossible knot. Glory held up her claws. Thick canvas covered them, tied together with another rope around each forearm. Here, too, Kinkaju said, pointing to the knot. See how tight that is? Glory squinted at it. She didn't know much about knots. She nodded to Kinkaju's talons, and the little dragonette shook her head. They're not sharp enough to cut through the rope. I've tried. Kinkaju sliced one tiny claw across the rope, but it didn't even look frayed. Glory lashed her tail. It is frustrating, Kinkaju agreed. Stupid nightwings. But if we tried to escape, they'd read our minds or foresee it and stop us anyway, right? Glory discovered that she would still growl. Does that mean you want to try? Kinkaju asked, perking up. Her ruff flared around her face. Because nobody else wants to try to escape, but I so do. Because, oh my gosh, you haven't even seen how awful the food is here. They keep bringing us horrible dead things. I mean, things that have been dead for weeks, I think. It is mega gross and makes us totally sick when we eat it. There's no fruit at all. Tapir finally just let himself starve to death. It's so awful. I try to eat as little as I can. How am I supposed to make an escape plan with a dragonette? Who won't shut up, Glory wondered. When I can't even ask her any questions. Such as, what did the Nightwings want with the Rainwings anyway? Why were they kidnapping them and holding them prisoner? What did Deathbringer have to do with this plan? And why had he told them to stop? Confused, Kinkaju guessed, pointing at Glory's scales, and frustrated again. I need a color for stop that, Glory thought. Something flapped outside the cave entrance. Kinkaju turned toward the sound, then winced and closed her eyes. Glory pushed past her and peered out. 3 Nightwings flew over the lava river and disappeared into another cave not far from Glory's. A few moments later, they reappeared, dragging a limp Rainwing behind them. Oh no. The Rainwing scales were a heavy gray, like rain clouds. It was a color of sadness Glory hadn't seen on any other rainwing. He was conscious, but neither struggled nor helped the rainwings. He just hung between them like he'd given up completely. Glory thought of Jumbo's vibrantly joyful scales and felt a stab of anger at the Nightwings for ripping innocent dragons from their homes, and at the other Rainwings for letting this happen to their friends, without even noticing or caring that they were gone. The black dragons lifted the Rainwing over the river and carried him up the slope of a mountain, letting his tail bump across the rocks. Glory watched until they all vanished into a sort of fortress halfway up the mountain. It looked like a jumbled pile of rocks, so she hadn't realized it was a building before. Poor Gibbon, Kinkajou said. They take him all the time. I guess his venom is way more interesting than mine or something. Glory whirled to stare at her. Oh yeah, Kinkajou said. When they take you up there, try pretending your venom doesn't work right or something. That's all they want us to do. Melt things. It's so weird, like, can't they melt their own things? So far I've melted an orange and a pile of leaves. They told me to melt this metal claw thing too, but of course that's stupid. Our venom doesn't work on non-living stuff. And then they had me spit some venom into a bowl, and who knows what they want with it? I don't get it! They're studying us, Glory realized, or at least they're studying our venom. She turned and began pacing the length of the cave. Are they hoping to use it themselves? As a weapon? But the Nightwings don't fight. They stay out of the war, so who do they need weapons for? Are they planning to join the war soon? On whose side? Blizzard's, of course, she thought immediately, smacking herself in the head with her tail. That's why they wanted us to choose her for the prophecy. But why join the war now? And why torture Rainwings for their venom when Nightwings have their own ever so special powers they never shut up about? That must be what thinking hard looks like, Kinkajou said, hopping onto a boulder and watching Glory with great interest. Your scales are all kinds of colors right now. I've never seen another Rainwing do that. Oh, I wish you could talk to me. Me too, Glory thought. Maybe we could escape together, and then you could be my teacher, Kinkajou said. I swear I'm not as awful as everyone says, but we'd have to get you across the lava, and then we'd have to find the tunnel back to the rainforest, and then we'd have to get past the guards there, and then we'd have to get all your bindings off, or maybe we'd have to do that first, actually. That would make more sense, because then you could fly and fight and stuff, but I have no idea how to do any of that. Oh, Pikachu. She stopped her wing stooping and suddenly looked very young. Glory had been wondering why Kinkajou didn't escape on her own, but if she didn't know where the tunnel was, and there were guards to fight along the way, it was a tall order for a little dragonette. Especially when failure would surely mean she'd end up bound and gagged like the other Rainwings. Maybe I could find something sharp enough to cut the ropes, Kinkajou said, brightening again. Like a really sharp rock? Or, well, there's not much around here except rocks. Oh, or I could check one of the really disgusting dead things for sharp bones when our dinner comes. That would be pretty gross, though. Maybe you should do it. Glory thumped her tail on the ground to get Kinkajou's attention. She pointed to her mouth, then her stomach, then her mouth again, and tried to turn her scales of color. The color of curiosity. You're asking me a question, Kinkajou said with great delight. Wait, let me guess. You're hungry? Glory frowned and tapped the rope around her mouth, pointed to the cave opening, flapped her arms like wings, pointed to his stomach, and pointed to the rope again. Kinkaju furrowed her brow. Something about the Nightwings and food. Oh, I know! You want to know if they take off the metal band when they feed us, am I right? Am I right? She turned toward the cave entrance as Glory nodded. I guess you're about to find out. The little dragonette darted over the drop and vanished into one of the gaps in the far wall. Glory could see her eyes shining in the dark, still watching. 4 Nightwings ducked into the cave one after one, crowding the narrow space. Glory held her ground and glared at them. At least there was no sign of Morrowseer. She was safer as an ordinary Rainwing prisoner than she would be if they found out she was the dragonette messing up their prophecy. The one they'd already tried to kill more than once. The last dragon who came in had a disturbing scar twisted across his snout. Strange bubbles of deformed skin protruded from his jawline, and one of his nostrils was sealed shut. So he breathed in a loud, snuffly way. When he spoke, Glory recognized the hoarse voice of the dragon who'd captured her. He was the one in the forest, she realized, listening to his peculiar breathing. The creature in the dark, the one who ate the death sloth. Looks normal to me, he said gruffly. One of the others gave him a scathing look. On the contrary, she said, there's clearly something wrong with this one. What do you mean? Said a third dragon. Observe his scales. Every other rainwing we picked up turned instantly green, the color that seems to indicate fear. But this one, I don't know what it indicates, but I'm seeing shades of red and orange, perhaps a little black here and there. The rainwing used a thin stick to point to spots on Glory's wings with clinical detachment. She could have been describing a moderately interesting beetle for all the emotions in her voice. So she's matching her environment, said the third dragon. That's something they do too, isn't it? Gloria narrowed her eyes at them and turned a deliberate, violent shade of purple. Oh my, said the unemotional dragon. We should take her to the lab immediately for closer study. I strongly recommend not feeding her and not touching that gag until we know more about her. Bosh, said the scarred Nightwing, sorry. All rainwings are the same, rotten and useless. Besides, Queen Battlewinner doesn't like to have her orders questioned. A fourth dragon spoke up. He stepped forward with something furry and horrible smelling in his talons. It's feeding time now. You can go ask her if this one should go to the lab afterward. I will, she said, stepping back. I've registered my concern here. You do what you like. The Nightwing slid out of the cave and flew off. Why, 3 for me to fight, Glory thought. You may have studied the venom of pacifist, well-trained, frightened rainwings, but you've never studied me. The scarred dragon produced a long spear from a sheath in his back. The sharp end had 3 twisted, claw-like points and glinted evilly in the reddish light. He hefted it in his talons and flicked his black tongue at Glory as if he were hoping she'd give him an excuse to hurt her. He hates us, she thought, meeting his eyes. It's personal for him. Her gaze shifted to his scar. Well, looks like it could have been caused by a venom strike. I wonder which rainwing was bold enough to do that. With a shiver, she realized he was the first dragon she'd seen who'd survived a venom attack, which meant it was possible to survive a venom attack, which meant Queen Scarlet might really still be alive. A dead pile of fur landed by her feet, and the other 2 guards pulled out long spears of their own. Glory stared down at the meal they were offering. Kinkaju wasn't exaggerating. It did smell horrible and long dead. She could barely tell what it had once been. A muskrat, perhaps. A nasty bite on its side looked like the one on the slough by the river, black and infected. One of the guards leaned forward and jabbed his spear toward her face. Gloria leaped back with a muffled snarl. "Hold still if you want to eat," growled the Scott dragon, "or else starve. We're fine with that too." Gloria clenched her talons and eyed the spear as it bobbed closer. It was hard to see exactly what the god did, but she felt the spear point hook into some kind of latch on the metal band, then twist and pull. The clamp slipped open and off, and the Nightwings all jumped back with their spears up. But not fast enough. End of chapter 21. Time for water. I hope you're keeping hydrated too, by the way. Well, they've noticed she's different from the other Rainwings. What they don't know is because she's been raised not by Rainwings, but by its whole dragons, basically. And yeah, she's not like any other Rainwing, that's for sure. But I wonder what causes, if their bite actually causes that, like if Nightwing bites have that effect on living beings. Ugh. That's... Ugh. Then again, Rainwings do have venom, but they don't use it on other dragons. They usually just use it for... They just use it for seeing if they're brother and sister. If they're family, related somehow, before mating. Because Rainwings don't do families, as we learned earlier. Anywho, chapter 22. Glory lunged forward with her fangs bared and seized the closest spear in her talons. She yanked it toward her, throwing the god off balance, and shot a jet of venom that missed his face but sprayed across his wings and back. He let go of the spear and tumbled toward the cave entrance with a shriek of pain. The scarred dragon dropped his spear. He shot out of the cave, shoving aside his injured tribe mate as he went by. Glory whipped toward the last god and tried to turn the spear on him, but her wrapped talons were clumsy and she fumbled with the weapon. He darted toward her, stabbing for her neck. Glory hissed a spray of venom at him, but to her surprise he dodged and rolled under it. A moment later he knocked her over and pinned her face down. He shoved her snout into the rocky floor and pressed the points of the spear into her neck. "Nice try, Rainwing," he snarled. "But it's not that easy to fool you!" His weight suddenly disappeared from her back, and his howls echoed around the cave. Glory leaped to her feet and found Kinkaju beside her with her front talons pressed over her snout. "I can't believe I did that!" Kinkaju yelled. "Oh my gosh, look at him!" The Nightwing staggered into the wall, clawing at his neck. Kinkaju had hit him with only a few droplets of venom, but those were smoking and bubbling on his face. He turned back to the two Rainwings with pain-crazed rage in his eyes. "I'm sorry!" Kinkaju cried. "Oh, that looks like it hurts so much!" Glory yanked the spear out of the god's claws and shoved him over the drop-off at the back of the cave. She could hear him flapping and blundering around in the dark, still yowling. "But," Kinkaju said, He'll be fine once he remembers he has fire, Glory said. We should be gone by then. I didn't realize you might escape now, Kinkaju said. I mean, like, right now. That's so crazy. You're crazy. Her voice was edgy and manic, but her scales were bright yellow with excitement. Tone it down a bit, can you? Glory said, nodding at the little dragonette's wings. We don't need to alert the whole mountain as we escape. Try looking like them. She turned her own scales. She turned her own scales the same gleaming black as the night wings outside. I'm Glory, by the way. Got it! Kinkaju said, flipping her tail. Inky black spread across her scales as if someone was pouring the night sky onto her. But how do we get you over the lava river? Whoops. Glory had forgotten about that. Or rather, she hadn't thought that far ahead. She'd seen an opportunity to use her venom and took it without thinking. Who am I, Tsunami? She scolded herself. Worse yet, she knew the scarred Nightwing would be back any moment with reinforcements. She clamped her teeth down on the canvas that covered her talons. With a violent shake of her head, she ripped at the cloth until it tore loose. As soon as her claws were free, she seized a spear and turned it on the ropes wrapped around her body. The cats are coming, Kinkaju said anxiously. Same thing. Pretend you're a Nightwing Dragonette and stall them, Glory said. She jabbed a spear point awkwardly at one of the ropes and stabbed herself in the underbelly. With a hiss, she hefted the weapon and tried again. Yes! Alright, stall them. No problem, Kinkaju said. She darted toward the cave entrance. The first Nightwing Glory had attacked was lying halfway across the opening, moaning softly and writhing as if he were trying to wriggle out of his own skin. Kinkaju blinked at him for a moment, then lifted one of his wings so it draped across his shoulder and back, covering the brass band around her neck. She leaned a little way out of the cave and looked up. Quick! She shouted suddenly, making Glory jump. She attacked us and escaped! We saw her go that way! She pointed down the mountain. Hurry! Don't stop! She was flying super fast! No, I'll take care of him! Go after her! She's getting away! The whoosh of wings shot by overhead, sending a blast of hot air back into the cave. At the same time, Glory finally hooked the spear into the knot of the rope. With a twist, she managed to saw the sharp points across the fibers until they split. But as that rope slid off, she realized there were 4 more separately knotted around her. Oh, I'll never get all these off. Before they realized it was a trick and come back, she thought. There had to be another way across the river. Maybe there was something they could use as a stepping stone. She hurried to the opening and stared out, looking for large boulders. Kinkaju watched her trustingly. A squadron of 5 Nightwings was flapping away down the mountain, toward a black sand beach and an expanse of grey stormy water. Only 5 Nightwings to stop me, Glory thought. She glanced up the mountain, but there was no sign of an alarm or extra forces mobilizing. I guess they're not really that worried about me escaping, she said uneasily. I'm pretty worried about it, though, Kinkaju offered. Hey, Glory said, poking the wounded god. You can still fly, right? Can't you? He flinched away from her. I can't, he moaned. Everything hurts. It didn't even look that bad. He'd avoided the worst of the spray, and most of the damage was along one side of his back. You're going to hurt a lot more unless you carry me over this lava, Glory said. Or cut these right off of me. She bared her fangs at him, and he threw his wings over his head, scuttling backward into the cave. Actually, said a new voice, I have a better offer. Glory whirled around as a black dragon descended from the sky and gave her a cheeky grin. Hello, Glory, said Deathbringer. Ooh, Deathbringer is back. End of chapter 22, by the way. He has a crush on her, and she has a crush on him. They probably both deny they have, but I could see the chemistry from their first interaction. So what is he doing there? How is this going to go? I mean, he did try to stop her from using himself as bait to find out what was taking the other Rainwings. So we'll see in chapter 23. I am not intentionally making it rhyme, by the way. I am not intentionally rhyming. Don't give me that smug look, Glory snapped. This isn't my smug face. It's oh. She said, don't give me that smug face. Not look. This isn't my smug face. It's my heroic face, Deathbringer said. And how funny is this? First I was your prisoner, now you're mine. Perhaps you haven't heard what I do to dragons who try to keep me prisoner, Glory said with a hiss. Alright, stop it, you two! Clay flapped up behind Deathbringer and landed beside Glory. Clay? Glory cried. What are you doing here? We came to rescue you, he said, nudging her wing with his. Aren't you pleased? I'm right in the middle of rescuing myself, Glory said. She was having a hard time keeping her scales black when the sight of Clay made her feel as pink as her ridiculous brother. Maybe some other time. Don't listen to her, Kinkaju cried. We definitely need rescuing. Please rescue us! How did you even get here? Glory asked. I mean, how did you know to look for me here? Clay nodded to Deathbringer, who flicked his tail and managed to look even more smug. He talked me into it. When you didn't come back, he told me he knew where you'd gone, and he'd help me find you if I set him free. Sounds like a trick, Glory said, eyeing Deathbringer suspiciously. Why would he work against his fellow Nightwings? Was this a way to get Clay into their clutches as well? Let's escape first and ask skeptical questions later, said Kinkaju. She jumped into the air, wings flapping. Sensible Dragonauts, said Deathbringer. He gave Glory an unreadable look, teasing but worried. And self-satisfied but sweet all at once. Got a crush! You can express your undying gratitude to me later. I'll wait. Go ahead and hold your breath, Glory suggested. Up you go, Clay said. He spread his wings so Glory could climb onto his back. She hesitated for a moment. Part of her said, you can do this yourself. You don't need help. Just get your wings free and save your own scales. But there wasn't time, and although she couldn't trust Deathbringer, there was no one more trustworthy than Clay. She clambered onto his back, still holding the spear and awkwardly adjusting her balance without her wings. He was in the air almost before she could get her talons around his neck. She slipped sideways and nearly knocked him into the lava. Clay's tail brushed the bubbling, red-hot river below, and he lurched upward with a hiss of pain. It's alright, he said quickly. It'll heal fast. Don't worry. Fire-resistant scales like Clay's would definitely have come in handy here, Glory thought, glancing down as he flew higher. She saw several other caves overlooking the lava river, but no snouts sticking out. We have to get the other rain wings, she shouted in Clay's ear. We have to set them all free. Now? He asked. We'll be lucky if we make it out without getting caught. I can't just leave them here, she cried. I promised Mangrove I'd find Orchid. And you did, he said. Now you know where she is. Now you know where she is. We can come back and get her. With backup. He glanced over his shoulder and put on a burst of speed. Lots and lots of backup. Glory looked behind them as well and saw a cluster of night wings standing on a high rocky ledge. 3 of them were pointing at Clay and shouting to the others. Black scaled heads were turning toward the sky all across the volcano. She also saw Kinkajou flapping madly to keep up with them. What she didn't see was a certain dangerous, know-it-all assassin. Deathbringer's not with us, she called. Of course not, Clay called back. He swooped down between 2 curved stone columns and banked a right. His tribe can't know he helped us. Glory thought uneasily of the dragon she'd wounded back in the prison cave. Surely he had seen Deathbringer and overheard their conversation. But really, what was Deathbringer's problem? But really, that was Deathbringer's problem. What happened to his mission? The one about killing us, remember? Maybe he doesn't want to anymore, Clay said with a shrug. Suspicious, Glory thought. Or as Kinkajou would say, mega suspicious. And yet, she also felt a weird loss. Like, she wished she'd had a chance to say goodbye. She twisted to look back again, but he really wasn't there. Ah well, maybe next time he shows up to kill me. She realized that Clay was winging rapidly toward the black sand beach that ringed the island at the base of the volcano. Twisted, leafless trees grew on the volcano's slopes, like bones sticking out of the dirt. Beyond the beach, the ocean roared and churned, grey and unfriendly and speckled with foam. Clay, Glory said, we're not flying back to the rainforest across the ocean, are we? No way, Clay said. I don't even know which way the rest of Pyria is, or how far. Do you? Nope, Gloria said, but it makes sense to me that the Night Wings live on an island. One that's not on any maps. I would have thought they'd picked a nicer one, though. This place is ghastly. She coughed, wondering if the smell of rotten eggs would ever clear out of her snout. Clay dove toward a cave halfway up a small rocky ledge at one end of the beach. The passage to the rainforest is here, he called. Get ready to fight. Always. Oh, sorry, this is Kinkajou. Always ready, panted Kinkajou beside them. Glory opened her mouth and tasted the smoky air. She couldn't see any guards on the beach below. Didn't you have to fight them on your way in the tunnel? Out of the tunnel? She asked. No. Deathbringer went ahead of me and distracted them, but they'll be back by now. Also, Kinkajou gasped, company behind! Glory didn't have to look back. She already heard the wing beats, and she didn't really want to know exactly how many night wings were on their tails. She gripped the spear in her claws, imagining Morosia at the pointy end of it. The cave yawned wide in front of them. Clay didn't slow down as she shot between the rocky walls. Gloria blinked, her eyes adjusting to the darkness, and then she saw the light of fire glowing up ahead. 4 night wings were gathered around the fire, each of them carrying one of the wicked-looking spears. The wrongness feeling emanated from a perfectly circular hole in the rock wall behind them. And they were clearly not planning on letting anyone get to it. Have to get past them fast, Glory thought, or else we'll have all the ones behind us to deal with as well. The fast guard saw them coming, jumping up and slamming into Clay. Glory catapulted over his head, dropping the spear and just missing the fire as she crashed into one of the other dragons. Talons seized her tail and wings, and more talons fumbled for her snout. Not happening, Glory thought. No one would muzzle her weapon again. Her jaw sprang open and she swung her neck around, spraying venom at the guard who was trying to hold her down. Black droplets spattered across his chest. Screaming, he leaped back and stumbled into the fire, then fled toward the beach with smoke rising from his scales. The other two guards pounced on Glory from behind, wrestling her back down again. They were both huge, the size of Morosia, with metal armor buckled over their underbellies and strange helmets protecting their snouts. Glory's face was pressed into the ground. She lashed her tail furiously, trying to smack them the way Tsunami would have, but one of the guards stepped on it and pinned it down. Glory struggled against the weight of the two dragons. Above her, Clay was battling the first Nightwing. Their cars clashed and bouts of fire blasted through the air. Kinkaju, Glory thought. Where had she gone? Had she made it into the tunnel? The tiny dragonette suddenly popped up behind the guards holding the spear Glory had dropped. She swung it hard and smacked one of the Nightwings on the head with the blunt end. He tottered sideways with a yell, then whipped around with a murderous gleam in his eyes. Kinkaju! Glory shouted. Use your venom! But, Kinkaju said, dodging a swipe of the Nightwing's claws, I don't! Or the spear, pointy end this time. Kinkaju looked down at the spear with a surprised expression. She hefted it and jabbed it at the guard as he came at her again. He knocked it aside and thrust his own spear at her. Kinkaju yelped, and Gloria saw a streak of blood slashed across her neck. Glory clenched her talons with rage. How dare he! Kinkaju was just a tiny dragonette. Not only that, she was a rainwing, which meant she hadn't never been trained to fight. There was just one guard holding Glory down at the moment. She thought of Sunny's tricks from battle training and stopped struggling. On top of her, the guard let out a pleased hiss. Glory let her scales ripple into the color of rocks below her. Foolish rainwing, hissed the guard. I can still feel you. I can still see your wing bindings. Glory knew that, but she was hoping the strangeness of holding something he couldn't see would make him slower. Taking a deep breath, she suddenly twisted herself into a tight spiral. The Nightwing's talons slipped on her scales, and she was able to get her tail free for a moment. Long enough to swing it around and jab him sharply in the middle of his back. Sunny loved this move, and at first none of them had understood why. If she'd had a poisonous barb on her tail like other sandwings, it would have been terrifying, but with a harmless tail, what was the point? They'd each experienced it and discovered there was something freaky and unsettling about it. It felt like being hit by lightning at just the wrong spot. It was as if their scales knew they could have been badly injured. If there had been poison at the tip of that tail, it would have been paralyzed their spines instantly and killed them for a few moments later. So it was weirdly chilling and an effective distraction in the middle of a fight. Glory had no idea if this would work when a rainwing did it to a Nightwing, but it was worth a try. The guard stiffened as if he'd just been shocked by one of the electric eels in Queen Coral's prison. It was only for a moment, but in that moment, Glory was able to throw him off and free her snout. She went straight from Kinkaju's attacker, shooting venom at all the exposed scales she could see. He screamed and slammed back into the rocks. Glory saw another gash along Kinkaju's side. The little dragonette was shaking, and her scales were ripples of pale green and white. Clay seized Glory's tail before she could get to Kinkaju. "Get out of here!" Glory shouted at the hole, pointing at the hole. "Go!" Kinkaju hesitated, looking beyond Glory at the Nightwing God. For a moment, Glory was certain that she'd disobey and stay to help fight. But then, without arguing, Kinkaju darted for the tunnel and vanished into the darkness. Well, good, Glory thought as a spear viciously clocked her in the head. Someone's being sensible for once, unlike my friends. She tried to turn around, but the Nightwing threw her into the wall. Stars spun dizzily in Glory's vision. "Don't pass out! Don't pass out!" If the Nightwings recaptured her, she'd never get another chance to use the venom and escape. They'd probably let her starve to death instead. Blurrily, she saw Clay suddenly drop out of the air, and her heart leaped into her throat. Was he hurt? She staggered a step toward him, but a sharp pain in her back leg stopped her. The god had stabbed her with his spear. Glory hissed angrily and lunged for the spear as the god pulled it back. He stabbed it at her again, violent and fast, and she felt it scratch her underbelly like a sharp line of bee stings. At the same time, Clay landed right in the middle of the fire. Flames licked at his underbelly and wings, and a scorched smell filled the air. Glory's scales hurt just looking at him. Even if he healed fast, she knew his skin was burning right now. Clenching his jaw, Clay crouched and picked up smoldering coals from the fire in his talons. The Nightwings in the air above him didn't have time to figure out what was coming. Clay flung the coals right into the god's face and started grabbing and throwing more as the god frantically clawed at his snout. "Clay!" Glory yelled at her own as her own opponent flung her off balance. Glory fell backward, and the Nightwing was on her in an instant, wrapping his strong talons around her snout to force it shut. Red-hot coals came flying through the air. Most bounced off the dragon's armor, and one ricocheted painfully against Glory's bound wings. But a few found the gaps in the armor and slid inside. The god let go of Glory and started clawing at his armor, howling with pain. Glory had just made it to her feet again when someone grabbed her shoulders. She whipped around with a hiss and barely managed to stop herself from shooting venom in Clay's face. "Quick!" he cried, shoving her onto his back. She grabbed his neck again as he bounced his legs and flung himself over the guards at the hole. One of the injured Nightwings lunged for Clay's tail, but when he saw Glory opening her mouth, he flinched away. Clay dove into the tunnel, which spiraled up and around. Glory held on tight, burying her head in his scales as they flew. She could hear rain falling up ahead. Almost there, she thought. Almost safe. For now. End of chapter 23. So, yeah, Deathbringer definitely has a crush on her. Wanted to help her and save her. I wonder if he's also gonna end up in the rainforest again to meet up with them. We'll see. But they hurt Kinkaju. I am going to K-word them. If I could, I would. No one hurts an adorable dragonette like her. She reminds me too much of Sunny, okay? Sunny is an absolutely precious being. And if you hurt her, you gotta deal with me. You are the scum of the earth. Or, well, the scum of Pyria. Because, well, this isn't on Earth. They have 3 moons. They have 3 moons there, and obviously the intelligent, the primary species is dragon or dragons. So all right, let's wait no more. Here's chapter 24. That was intentional. They emerged into a sun shower. Rain dripped down through the leaves, but shafts of sunlight still dappled the trees, reflecting flashes of light off the droplets and catching rainbows in the spider webs and waterfalls. Sorry. Clay tipped Glory off onto the ground and flopped into the nearest mud puddle, breathing heavily. To Mudwing's clay, mud. To Mudwing's, mud is healing. If you weren't there when I read the first book, where that was explained in the end of the first book. Well, actually no. That was when they were prisoners in the Skywing Kingdom, and he'd been hurt, and then Peril helped him get mud for his wings and back, which healed him. Which, well, helped heal him much faster. And because he came from a blood red egg, he has fire resistant scales, and that also means he heals faster. Yeah, just some exposition, so you know, because this fight would not make much sense. Like, you'd be like, if you just heard this chapter, you'd be like, why would the Nightwing be surprised or not try and not fight him with fire? Because it was clearly their fault he ended up in that fire where he got the coals. Because yeah, so yeah, they didn't know he was from a blood red egg, and his scales were fire resistant. Because usually Mudwing scales aren't that. They're sturdy dragons, but not fireproof. And they need heat. They need a warm temperature for them to be able to breathe fire as well. Anywho, enough talking. Clay. No, I had already read that. She sat up, shaking herself, and looked up at the tunnel to the Nightwing Island. There's no sound of pursuit, no thumping wing beats, no black snouts crawling out to continue the battle. It took her a moment to realize how close they were to the other passage, the one that went to the desert. The first tunnel was in a boulder. This one went straight into the second dark tree on the other side of the stream. She wouldn't have noticed the hole in the tree trunk if she hadn't been looking for it. It was above her eye level, carved into a tree at a height where most dragons would have to look up to see it. It was as dark as the tree itself, disappearing into the wood as it pulsed with such a feeling of not supposed to be there that she wanted to look away the moment her eyes came anywhere near it. A second tunnel? A second tunnel, she said to Clay. That's so weird. Do you think there are more? Wake me when you figure it out, Clay said. No, hang on. Never wake me up again. I'm going to sleep for a few 100 years. Oh, Clay. He scooped up 2 talonfuls of mud and poured it onto his head, closing his eyes with a sigh. Kinkaju shot out of the treetops and cannoned into Glory. I'm so glad you're all alright! She yelled. She yelped. I didn't want to leave you there, but I was so scared. You did the right thing, Glory said, ducking to avoid the spear Kinkaju was still swinging around. Here, give me that, and go look in that hole to see if anyone's following us. Kinkaju's eyes went wide. But what if they are? Then what do I do? Scare them back to their hideous island, Glory said, poking the spear at her bindings. I'll come help you as soon as I can get my wings free. And if I can figure it out, I'll use this thing to get your neckband off too. She nodded at the metal ring around Kinkaju. The little dragonette shuffled her feet. Listen, I'm not sure I want to use my venom on any more dragons. It made me feel really, really awful. Well, just pretend you're going to, Glory said. She nudged the dragonette toward the tree. Sit in the tunnel entrance with your mouth open and try to look sinister, alright? Kinkaju perked up. Sure! I bet I can look sinister. Super sinister. Just watch me. She flapped up to the hole, curled her tail around her talons, opened her mouth, and squinted fiercely down the tunnel. She looked more like a decorative doorstop than a god, but it would have to do for now. Glory kept one eye on her as she worked to free her wings. It was a little unsettling that no one had chased them through the tunnel. Maybe the Nightwings thought there'd be more dragons waiting on this end to fight them off. How long had she been gone? She squinted at the angle of sunbeams and realized it must be morning. It felt like she'd been trapped in the Nightwing Kingdom for a month, but it had only been a day. She had one rope left to untie when she heard voices approaching through the forest. I wonder who that is. I think maybe this is Starflight talking. This is a terrible idea. Can't we discuss it like sensible dragons? There's no time! Clay and Glory have been kidnapped by that Nightwing assassin! I have to save them! But we don't know that he took them, and we don't know if he went through the tunnel or where they might be in the Kingdom of Sand, and we're over here! Glory yelled. There was a pause, followed by some vigorous flapping. I was right. Starflight and Tsunami burst out of the trees and soared down over the stream to land beside Clay. A few moments later, Sunny caught up to them. Glory's sloth was sitting on her head, clutching Sunny's horns with a startled expression. Oh, I knew you were alright, Glory said brightly. She hesitated, squinting at Clay and the mud dripping over his snout. Her eyes took in the wounds splashed across Glory's scales. Are you alright? Of course, Clay said, squishing himself further down into the mud puddle. Silver, that's Glory's sloth, leaped from Sunny onto Glory's neck and started tugging on Glory's ears, warbling a fairy complaint. Glory caught her between her claws and stroked her head. Sorry, she whispered, but it wouldn't have been safe for you. Herf, the sloth objected. Where were you? Tsunami cried. Deathbringer's escaped! He could be anywhere! He could jump out and try to kill you at any time! Actually, he isn't there, Glory said, pointing up at the tree. Her friends all craned their necks to peer at the hole. Another tunnel? Sunny said. She glanced across the stream and shivered. I mean, I noticed the weird feeling, but I thought it was still coming from that one. Where does this one go? Starflight asked. Glory tilted her head at him. It goes to the Night Kingdom, she said. Starflight inhaled softly. stared up at the tree. She saw the anxiety and curiosity tingling through him as clearly as if his scales could change color too. His tribe was through there and his original home. She wondered what he would think of the island, the smell, the scorched air and unfriendly rocks, the horrible smoky cloud that hung over everything, and the fact that his fellow Nightwings were kidnapping Rainwings for their venom. All things considered, she thought she'd rather have her own tribe of lazy but not evil dragons. Listen, she said, you may want to sit down for this. They decided to leave Tsunami and Clay guarding the tunnel. Don't let anyone come through there, Glory said fiercely. If you even see a hint of a snout poke out, you jab it with this thing as hard as you can. She handed the spear to Tsunami. No problem, Tsunami said with relish. She spun the spear between her talons. We'll be back soon, Glory said with an army of Rainwings. Tsunami and Starflight exchanged glances, and Glory flared her wrath at them. I know what you're thinking, she said. She snapped, so don't say it. It's just, Starflight said. I mean, is that a good idea? Rainwings aren't army-like. The Nightwings would crush them easily. Especially if any of them look into the future and see you coming, Sunny said. They didn't see me escaping, Glory pointed out. They're not all powerful. We can stop them and rescue the others. Maybe it's a misunderstanding, Starflight said, resting his front talons on the tree. Maybe if I went through and talked to them, then maybe you'd end up in a lovely lava prison too, Glory said. Or dead. Let's not forget that you might be one of the dragons Deathbringer was sent to kill. She spread her wings, letting them shimmer into the colors of the cobweb rainbows. But feel free to stand here worrying about it all day. I'm going back to get my tribe, with or without you. She beckoned to Kinkajou and leaped into the air. It was a relief to use her own wings again. She stretched them wide as they soared up to the brightest branches, to the highest branches. Why can't I talk anymore? Silver clung to her shoulders, making happy furry noises. Kinkajou took the lead with an eager flick of her tail. Glory had figured out how to get the band off with the Nightwing spear. It had left a painful-looking dent in Kinkajou's neck, but the little dragon was too happy to mind. Bursts of pink and yellow spiraled through her scales, getting brighter the closer they got to the village. Have they been looking for me every day? The dragon had asked, looking back to circle around Glory. Did Bromelaid just have a heart attack when I disappeared? I can imagine her face. Kinkajou pursed her snout in a hilariously accurate impression of Bromelaid. That dragonette got herself kidnapped on purpose. She's always been trouble. Kinkajou giggled. I hope you were out of wings looking for me, you grumpy old cow. Gosh! Won't everyone be excited when I finally turn up? Glory said, don't be upset if there's no welcome home party. There's Coconut! Kinkajou cried, spotting a small dragon lounging in a hammock on the outskirts of the village. Oh, look how saucy he is! We took gliding lessons together all last year. I bet he's been helping search for me. Coconut, it's me! I'm back! She swooped up to the hammock and poked it vigorously with her tail until the emerald green dragon inside sat up, blinking. He said. What? I'm back! Kinkajou said, wrapping her wings around him and nearly knocking him out of the hammock. I'm alright! I made it home! Coconut disentangled himself politely. Kinkajou? He squinted at her. You went somewhere? I've been gone for almost 3 whole weeks, Kinkachi said. Her smile faded as the other dragon shook his head. Didn't you miss me? He said, I've been very busy. I bet, Gloria said disgruntled. You be at Magnificent Pavilion in 1 hour and bring every other rainwing you can find. We're having a tribe meeting. A what? Coconut said. And if you're not there, I will know, and I will personally come tie you into this hammock, so you're stuck here forever, Gloria said. Go start telling everyone. Go! Coconut flailed out of the hammock and flapped away, looking confused. Glory steered Kinkajou toward the center of the village. The dragonette's wings were drooping and speckled with blue-gray. Disappointing young dragons who count on them, Glory said. Seems to be a rainwing specialty. Someone must have looked for me, said Kinkajou. Yeah, I did, Glory pointed out. She saw the Queen's treehouse up ahead and veered that way. Starflight and Sunny hadn't caught up yet. Maybe they were busy talking about how this plan of Glory's would fail. Or maybe they were checking on webs again, as if that was all at all important compared to saving the Rainwings. The line to see Magnificent was shorter today. Only 2 dragons sat on the waiting platform, and neither of them looked particularly upset. Glory swooped right past them and dove through the vine curtain, skidding to a stop on the wood floor. The Rainwing Queen jumped, and her sloth leaped onto her head, looking startled. I found them, Glory announced. She glanced at the dragons Magnificent was meeting with, a young Rainwing whose blue-green scales looked like he was trying to match Tsunami's, complete with white dots to mimic her pearls, and a shrunken old dragon with a silvery tinge into his ruff. I found the missing Rainwings, Your Majesty. Oh, call me Maggie, said the Queen. What missing Rainwings? The ones you sent me to find, Glory said impatiently. Like Orchid and Queen Splendor and Kinkajou here. Oh, said Magnificent. A shimmer of dark purple rippled through her scales. Marvelous. I'm so pleased. Do go tell Mangrove. It'll be so nice to not have to deal with that headache anymore. She turned back to the other Rainwings. No, listen, Glory said. They were abducted. We have to go rescue them. Magnificent blinked at Kinkajou. Except her, Glory said. I mean, we got her out. But the others are still there. We need to get the tribe together and organize an expedition to save them. An expedition? Magnificent echoed. Her eyes wandered to a lizard that was crawling slowly through the window. Save them from what? Save them from what? Asked the blue-green Rainwing. From the Nightwings, said Glory. They've been kidnapping Rainwings and holding them prisoner, she hissed, remembering the grey dragon's tail thumping sadly along the ground as the Nightwings carried them off. Do you want us to fight other dragons? Said the Queen. How would we do that? Glory clutched her head. She knew her scales were vibrating with furious sunset colors, but she needed all her energy for arguing with the Queen. With your venom, she said slowly. With your camouflage. With your claws and teeth. With anything that will save your fellow tribe mates. We're not fighters, the Queen said, as if she were explaining 3 moons to a very small dragonette. Rainwings aren't built for that. We're a peaceful tribe. So what does she suggest? Glory snapped. Ask the Nightwings nicely to give the dragons they stole back. Because kidnapping dragons certainly make them seem like a pretty reasonable tribe. Open to negotiation and all that. Queen Magnificent examined her claws for a moment, then picked up her sloth and scratched it under its chin. Well, let's think about this sensibly. Do you really need to get them back? Glory felt as if she'd been just been dropped in the Nightwing's volcano. She stared at the Queen. You mean you would leave them there? Well, said the blue dragon, staring at Glory's scales. I've never seen anyone turn that color red before. It's only a few dragons, said the Queen with a wave of one talent. Right? 506? 14, said Kinkaju, not counting the 3 who already died there. Even Mangrove didn't realize how many were missing, Glory thought. She felt another wave of anger. 3 died before anyone even went looking for them. Were they waiting to be rescued? Did they believe someone would come for them, or did they know there was no hope? See, only 14, said Magnificent. It doesn't really make that much difference, does it? There are plenty of other dragons in the tribe. For a moment, Glory was speechless. She had never, ever, not once in a million years, imagined there could be a queen who would let her subjects die without lifting a claw to save them. If the queen didn't even care, what chance did any Rainwing have? And there was nothing Glory could do. She wasn't part of the prophecy. She wasn't a normal Rainwing, and she couldn't save the Rainwings on her own, no matter how much she wanted to. Without the queen, with no army, she was as useless as a sloth. Glory wanted to scream a million things at the queen. What is wrong with you? Don't you have any loyalty or empathy? Someone should care when a dragon disappears. And then she realized exactly what she wanted to say. She spread her wings and pointed at the larger dragon. Queen Magnificent, I challenge you for the throne of the Rainwings. Ooh, end of part 2! Now we're moving on to part 3, A Throne in the Treetops. And that was end of chapter 24. 1 chapter to go, and oh my gosh, Glory's gonna become queen. Please and thank you! Yes! Growing up with other dragons, well, she knows how the world is, and she's the kind of queen the Rainwings need right now. That they really need. They need to learn about the world, that it's not all fun and games, and that they need to learn to care about others as much as Mangrove cares about his partner, Orchid. To figure out that she's not the only one gone missing, and that there are so many that's gone missing. Magnificent is useless. And like, obviously she's only this month's queen because they rotate. They have rotations, so different month has different queens. Anyone can be queen. Damn. Anywho, chapter 25. You mean you want to turn a being queen? Said Magnificent, tilting her head in a puzzled way. I'm sure that could be arranged if you insist. I can talk to the others and try to pick you in between Grandeur and Exquisite next year. No, I need to be queen right now, said Glory. She tried not to think about how much bigger than her Magnificent was, or how many years older she must be. Then again, I'm sure she's never had any battle training or faced a Skywing's claws every morning for 6 years. Because if you won't rescue those Rainwings, I will, whatever it takes, even if it means taking the throne from you. Oh, wow! Kinkaju breathed. I don't see how you could possibly do that, said Queen Magnificent. She looked down and started rearranging one of her flower necklaces. It's not very complicated, Glory said. We fight. Whoever survives gets to be queen. The other rain wings in the room all gasped. The queen's scales shimmered white and green. She stared at Glory. You would kill another dragon just so you could be queen? That's how it works in every other tribe, Glory pointed out. Not here, said Magnificent. That's barbaric. What's barbaric is abandoning dragons of your own tribe when you could save them, said Glory fiercely. Queen Magnificent waved her front claws airily and addressed herself to Kinkajou and the blue-green dragon. I'm sure no Rainwing would follow a queen who got her throne by violence. Agreed? The blue-green dragon shrugged, but Kinkajou puffed out her chest and glared at the queen. I'd follow Glory anywhere, she said. It's not the Rainwing way, Magnificent protested. As far as I can tell, the Rainwing way is to lie around and do nothing, Glory snapped. So why don't you do that and I'll just go ahead and be queen. After all, no one really wants the job, right? Maybe I don't want you to have it, the queen said with a growl. There is an old tradition, interjected the ancient dragon suddenly. If anyone wants to hear about it. The old Rainwing chuckled as they all turned to him. Don't look at me like that, Maggie. It's the fair thing to do. And it gives you as much chance, if not more, of keeping the throne. What is it? Glory asked. A contest, he said. Legend has it that dragons once vied for our throne like any other. But over time, the Rainwings devised a new method that did not end in death. If a challenger wished to take the throne, she had to defeat the present queen in a competition, and the queen had the right to choose the nature of the contest. That sounds exhausting, Magnificent said peevishly. It sounds fair to me, said Glory. Typical Rainwing nonsense, but honestly, becoming queen without any killing would be fine by her. What kinds of contests did they have? The old dragon squinted in the air. Let me think, he said, counting on his claws. Once there was a gliding race through the treetops, and when I was a very young dragon, I saw a camouflage contest. One would hide while the other tried to find her, and then vice versa. The winner was the one who found the other one fastest. A game of hide and seek to become queen, said Glory. Why not? She hoped no one could tell that she was a bit shaken. She was pretty sure she'd be better at a fight to the death than she would be at tree gliding or flower picking or whatever Magnificent would come up with. But if she wanted to be a queen of the Rainwings, she'd have to start acting like one, keeping her scales evenly red. She turned to Magnificent. Go ahead and name your contest, Your Majesty. Magnificent narrowed her eyes. I want a day to think about it, she said. That is customary, agreed the old dragon. Glory lashed her tail. The kidnapped Rainwings might not have a day. Who knew what the Nightwings would do now that they'd been found out? What if they killed all their prisoners to hide the evidence? Or what if they were gathering an army and shoring up their defenses right now? A quick, overwhelming attack before the Nightwings could prepare. That's what Glory had been planning. Maybe I could go back tonight by myself, she thought. Maybe I could sneak through the tunnel and free them all and melt any Nightwings who tried to stop me and bring everyone home. But she remembered the feeling of Nightwing claws pressing her into the stone and the cold band of metal around her jaws. If she went back alone and got caught, there wouldn't be time for anyone to come after her. The Nightwings would kill her on sight, and then there would be no hope for the imprisoned Rainwings at all. No, she couldn't rescue anyone without an army, which meant she needed the power of the throne behind her, and to get that, she had to win this contest. And with a day, she might at least have a chance of preparing. Maybe could teach her tree gliding like he promised. All right, she said, meeting the queen's eyes. Sunrise tomorrow. At the arboretum, said Magnificent with a sly smile, as if she knew perfectly well that Glory had no idea where that was. Also memorize the layout of the Rainwing village, Glory noted to herself, just in case she chooses like a scavenger hunt or something. Magnificent nodded toward the old dragon. What was your name again? Handsome, he said. He winked at Glory. Our names don't always end up suiting us. Handsome can oversee the contest, since this was his stupid suggestion. Magnificent said, if that's alright with you, Pipsqueak. Sounds perfect, Glory said. Enjoy your last day as queen. She ducked out through the vine curtain and stood on the bridge for a moment, breathing deeply. The full impact of what she'd just done had finally started to hit her. Am I crazy? Do I even want to be queen of the Rainwings and be stuck here forever, trying to organize these hopeless dragons? She could just imagine what her friends were going to say about this. She looked up and saw about 25 Rainwings all crowded onto the waiting platform, staring at her. One of them was Coconut. Apparently, this was the best he could muster. Then, when asked to gather the whole village, but judging from their expressions, they'd heard Glory's conversation with Magnificent. And from what she knew about Rainwings, this was the kind of news that would spread quickly, mainly because it meant they'd have some entertainment at sunrise tomorrow. Kinkajou bounced out of the treehouse behind her and saw the dragons as well. Coconut! She cried. Did you hear that? The other dragonette scuffed one talon across the wooden platform. Sure, he said. We're going to have a proper queen for once, Kinkajou said proudly. A few of the Rainwings exchanged glances, turning an odd shade of light purplish orange. Gloria guessed it meant puzzled or confused. It wasn't the color she wore or let herself wear very often. A proper queen? Echoed another of the Rainwings. Is that something we need? What's wrong with the ones we've got? Asked another. Why don't you ask Gibbon that question? Kinkajou shot back. Or Arcid, or Splendor, or Tualang, or Loris. All of the dragons were frowning now. Several of them glanced around at the trees as if they expected Orchid and Splendor to come sauntering out to be interviewed. That's right, Kinkajou said. Haven't seen them in a while, have you? That's because they've been kidnapped, like I was. And they're still trapped, except for Tapir and Bright and Orangutan, who died awful deaths alone and far away from everything and everyone they loved. And the only dragon who's willing to do anything about it is Glory. That's why she should be our queen. Oh, I love Kinkajou. Glory did not enjoy the awkward pause that followed. A number of the Rainwings wrinkled up their snouts as if they were trying to figure out who this Glory character was. Oh, don't listen to her. Bromelaid shouldered her way through the other dragons and glared at Kinkajou. Her tongue flicked in and out of her mouth. This dragonette is trouble. She's been hiding in the forest for 3 weeks to spite me. And now she's made up a ridiculous tale just for attention. Violent orange shot through Kinkajou's wings, and she bared her teeth at Bromelaid with a hiss. Put a shape in it, Bromelaid, Glory said, pulling Kinkajou back behind her. It's all true. I was there too. She turned her attention to the other dragons at the platform, and the ones who were starting to gather in the trees as well. Listen to me. Your friends are suffering. They're tortured and trapped in caves in a horrible place that smells of smoke and death. There's no fruit. There's no sun-time. Horrified murmurs swept through the branches overhead. No sun-time? Somebody squeaked. Gloria took a step along the bridge and several of the rainwings quailed back. This could have happened and could still happen to any of you. If you won't go rescue them, who will? They'll be lost there forever. Glory lashed her tail. I know you'd rather sleep than deal with problems, but these dragons are from your tribe, and they need you. She glanced back at the treehouse behind her and raised her voice. That's why I'm going to take the throne tomorrow. It's not because I want the biggest pieces of fruit or the highest sun platform. I'm doing this for the missing rainwings and for you. So that you won't have to spend the rest of your lives looking over your shoulder and thinking, our friends are still lost, and we could have saved them. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps reading this. Oh, wait. That was the end of chapter 25. Oh dear, this is getting exciting. And I really hate this because I once again left us on a cliffhanger. Unintentionally. Well, come back Monday. And we'll finally figure out what's going to happen. I really hope Jambu is going to help Glory with like whatever Rainwings do, and help her figure out what Magnificent might choose as her contest. So he can help her with that. Because they are brother and sister, Jambu and Glory, so. And I love King Kaju! King Kaju is my baby! But yeah. Thanks for joining me today. It has been an hour and a half. Wow! Sometimes we go like almost 2 hours. But damn. And I really think I found Glory's voice now. Like, it's sometimes very sarcastic. It's a bit deeper and more serious / sarcastic than my normal voice. So, and Tsunami's voice is close to my normal voice, so. Let's two have head bumps together sometimes. Like, they're not the best friends. And Sunny. Oh, I love Sunny as well. I haven't seen much of her in this book. But the 5th book, we're going to see a lot of her because that's from her point of view. Well, no. Point of view, 3rd character. Her point of view. Like, this. Because the 1st book was from Clay's view. Like, we got his thoughts and his experiences, everything like that. And the 2nd was Tsunami. This one is Glory. The next one is Starflight. And the 5th is Sunny. So the dragon that's on the cover is the dragon we will be following for the book. So that's one. But yeah, we will continue on Monday. Yeah. Ooh. Oh yeah. So I have this. I bought these like small eggs, like dinosaur eggs, and it's an excavation kit. So maybe I will try and get this out this weekend on stream. That would be fun, and just talking. Because there's a lot of you gotta really dig and sweep away and everything. It's tedious work, but it's also fun, and there's a lot of time to talk. It is marked what it is on it. The previous, the other egg I had, I've already done out, and that was what was it? It wasn't a Mayasara. Deinonychus, I think it's called, the one. But this one is a Stegosaurus. There are 6 in total. The Tyrannosaurus, the first I mentioned, I do not want to say that name again. And then there's a Triceratops, a Seismosaurus, Stegosaurus, and a Maiasaurus. And a Maiasaura. But yeah, I will be doing that on stream this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. See, there's this little, like, you use this thing to like pucker it, or I don't know what to call it, like get it apart, and then we have a little brush so you can see your work. But yeah, tune in for that this weekend. I'm going to do that Sunday, I think. Yeah, because I'll probably just spend all of tomorrow in bed, sleeping, and watching YouTube. But yeah. This is getting really exciting. I love this series. And I get money on Wednesday. So, and I have gotten my Steam account up and running again. Up to date again. And I will be buying Undertale and see if I will be able to stream Undertale, like if Steam will work with me here. Yeah. I'm a random I speak of random stuff. Like, this is a reading stream, we've finished the chapters and I'm just talking. It is, ooh dang, it is 11:15. But yeah, like I said in the beginning of the stream, don't let anybody tell you can't wear something. You're allowed to wear any clothing you like. If you're AMAP, assigned male at birth, and people tell you can't wear dresses because of that, shut the fuck up to them, please. You're allowed to wear all the dresses you want, as well as skirts and everything. If you're a trans girl and you wear pants and people say no to that, fuck them. You are allowed to express yourself however you want, no matter your gender identity, no matter your gender. And the same with trans guys. If people put you down for wearing dresses and skirts, they are the scum of the world. Okay? You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to wear whatever you feel comfortable with. If your body type if you have a bigger body than other people, and you want to wear a crop top or something like that, and people tell you no, you can't do that because you're overweight, your body is too big, just screw them, because you can do that, you can rock that shit. Okay? Body positivity. We really need body positivity way more than there is currently in the world for different body types and genders and gender norms. Fuck them. Okay? Societal norms. Fuck them. Yeah, I'm saying fuck. But honestly, that's all bullshit. Wear whatever you're comfortable with. Okay? Be yourself. Other people telling you you're not allowed to express yourself however you want through your clothing can go fuck themselves. Okay? You're perfect. You're amazing. You are so freaking loved, okay? You're beautiful just the way you wanna be. Just the way you are, I would say, but I don't think I'm beautiful. So don't think I can say that. But wanna wear a ton of makeup? You're beautiful. All natural, no makeup, beautiful. Okay? Wear whatever you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable, if you feel good with yourself with a lot of makeup on, with any kind of makeup on, small amount, big amount, large amount, no matter the amount, if you're comfortable with it, that's amazing and you are so beautiful. Okay? Mwah. You're all beautiful individuals, and yeah. I recognize that I have a privilege because, well, I live in Denmark. I am LGBT and I have privilege. Not just white privilege, but I also have a different type of privilege, is that I am Danish and I have grown up where I've grown up, and that my family have been super accepting of me no matter what. So my classmates, my old friends, most of my other family, most of the people I know IRL, as well as my old teachers, they've been all super accepting of me, and I recognize that is a privilege. And I just wish, I so wish that would not be a privilege, but that would be this norm in the rest of the world. And I really hate that it's a privilege that people can have. I just wish that could be the norm, and I really want to do something to change it, to try and make that the norm for everybody else, but I just don't know how, other than saying you're beautiful individuals, you're beautiful people, and anyone who thinks otherwise can go fuck themselves. Be who you are. Unless you're a bad person and manipulative asshole, then please don't change. Please. Think about your life choices and change for the better. But, well, I know people who watch me aren't, obviously. Because if you are, I beg of you to stop yourselves and think about what you're doing with your lives, and maybe realize, oh, okay, this isn't actually really good, maybe I should change my ways, and then you're okay with watching me. But if you don't, if you just want to continue being asshole, if you're happy with that, get the frick out. Okay? Because I don't want assholes to watch me, basically. It's the only way I can put it. But yeah. Beautiful people, watch me. No matter what, if you think you are or not, you're beautiful. No matter what. Okay? I don't think I'm beautiful, but my partner does. Just that someone thinks I'm beautiful. Just that someone thinks I'm handsome. You know, it lifts me up, and they are willing to have a love fight with me over that. If I am self-deprecating and saying no, I'm not beautiful, they are willing, and they will. As soon as I say something like I'm not beautiful, they will be like, excuse me, I see a falsehood there. You are so fucking handsome. Hello. um, but yeah, and just that I know that someone thinks of me like that lifts me up. It's helped me actually. That dating Bones has really helped me with my self confidence, with my body confidence, even. Because I know someone thinks I'm beautiful. Someone thinks highly of me. Someone loves me for who I am. And just that knowing that someone thinks like that of me helps me. And I really hope that you know that this will help you as well. Knowing you're beautiful. Even if you don't think it, knowing that someone genuinely means it when they say that you are beautiful, that can really lift you up. Okay? I've been ranting for a while now. I'm sorry. But yeah. Stay your beautiful, amazing selves, okay? And have I know body confidence and positivity is something that's very hard to have and just keep fighting, okay? You'll get there someday. When you look in the mirror and don't think that you're disgusting or you look bad or anything. 'Cause I still have my moments where I look in the mirror and think I'm disgusting, and then don't look at the mirror again for another week. I still have those moments. I wish I didn't, but I do, and I don't know where I was going with this. Just, it's a long journey. Okay? You got this. You got this, you amazing, beautiful person out there watching this right now. You're beautiful. You're amazing. Stay true to who you are, no matter what people say. You're worth it. Big hug from me. Signing off.